All right, so this is really creepy. I've had this up on my toolbar since I saw it. I got creeped out when I saw that Beyonce had a song entitled Daddy Lessons. And it just, when I was like, oh, that's got to be something bad. Beyonce's place in our society, the place that they're giving her, the role that's being created by the so-called Illuminati, what I call the controllers for this person, is that she is the Queen of America. They call her Queen Bee, and she's given this special role. And with that role comes at a huge price. And I saw this title to this song, and I've long suspected that probably her father or whoever was responsible for her, if she was a clone or if she was some, I don't know what to say about all that. But if she, whoever raised her, was her handler and did some significant damage to her. We know, most people know that she has at least one alter personalities because she's talked about this quite extensively, that there is an alter personality that she shares in her system called Sasha Fierce, and that she is a shy person normally, but to perform and to get the attitude that she gets and all of these poses she strikes and the aggressive nature she displays on stage comes from an alter personality named Sasha Fierce, and she had an album called Sasha Fierce. Now, she's talked about this quite extensively. If she went into a psychologist's office, a counselor or a clinician or a psychiatrist, and said, you know, I have this altered personality, she described Sasha Fierce, they would say, well, that's an alter personality. There's some sort of split in your personality. You likely have dissociative identity disorder, which used to be called multiple personality disorder, or something like, you know, schizophrenia or one of these other types of things. But it would be a major symptom. But when she talks about it on talk shows and all these types of things, they're like, oh, that's just sort of normal. Now, many celebrities talk about having these altered personalities and these types of, and oftentimes they're negative entities that come through the person. And I believe that all actors, really good actors, are channeling spirits, and they allow a spirit to come over them. And spirits can be good or bad, but whatever the case is, really good actors, they embody some other sort of personality, some other sort of spirit. So this is something that is very prevalent in the entertainment world. But with Beyonce, you can see that she's almost like an empty shell when she gives interviews. There's not a lot going on there. And that there's something that is going on with their family. Now, somebody sent me some pictures of her sister's wedding, and they're kind of disturbing. Her sister is dressed like a high priestess, and her husband, the guy she's marrying, is holding up an Illuminati sign, a satanic sign. I've talked about this sign. I believe it's called a water sign, and it's something that Aleister Crowley documented and something Donald Trump does quite often, and something that was done on The Simpsons show. And it was The Simpsons movie in which this guy was just about to announce that they're going to wipe every person out in Springfield, the town where the Simpsons live, and then he holds up this sign. Of course, when they do something with a cartoon, it's drawn, so it's intentional. And this sign means this is going to happen. And so Beyonce's sister, I believe her name is Solange, seems to be marrying some sort of handler. The guy looks a little bit older than her, and she has had multiple mental breakdowns as well. So there's something going on with that family. And so you have one person who has shows signs of a multiple personality disorder. And you have the other one who has mental breakdowns and is dressed up like a priestess at her wedding. And then you have the lyrics of this song. And these lyrics are very disturbing in a lot of different ways. A couple of things about this. So she says, came into this world, daddy's little girl, and daddy made a soldier out of me. Daddy made me dance, and Daddy held my hand, and Daddy liked his whiskey with his tea, and he rode motorcycles, blackjack, classic final, tough girl is what I had to be. He said, take care of your mother, watch out for your sister, and that's what he gave to me. With his gun, with his head held high, he told me not to cry. Oh, my daddy said, shoot. Oh, my daddy said, shoot. With his right hand on his rifle, he swore it on the Bible. My daddy said, shoot. Oh, my daddy said, shoot. He held me in his arms. He taught me to be strong. And he told me when he's gone, here's what you do. When trouble comes to town and men like me come around, oh, daddy said, shoot. Oh, my daddy said, shoot. Oh, oh. Daddy made me fight, and it wasn't always right. But he said, girl, it's your Second Amendment. He always played it cool, but Daddy was no fool. It goes back into the chorus. But there's a lot of disturbing things in these lyrics. The number one disturbing thing is says, because when trouble comes to town and men like me come around. Well, what does that mean? Well, she's supposed to be protecting her mother and her sister from men like him. Handlers, predators, rapists, mind control experts. What are we talking about here? See, what kind of a man is he or was he? That men like him, she needs to protect her family from men like him. So you see this. This is a revelation of truth when she has her issues, and there's a constant barrage of Illuminati symbolism and all these types of images. I've covered this in many of videos about her. And then her sister has these meltdowns, and I'm remembering that one of these meltdowns was her attacking Beyonce's alleged husband, these arranged marriages, these arranged celebrity marriages, Jay-Z, in an elevator. And what do we know about elevators? Well, elevators go down to hell. Very recently with Prince's death, we've talked about that in many recent videos. So if you think about all this, the lyrics to this song and the nature of Beyonce's mental condition, and she appears to be on every level an MK Ultra mind control subject. Now, this is what happens. I've talked about this in so many videos. One of the things that they do is torture a young child and sexually abuse them, and there's murder involved. There's lots of different things that happen. If you've read up on any of these different things, the Beta Kitten program, where they have the child kill another child, or they murder another child in front of the child. I mean, brutal stuff. We're talking about horrific, satanic things. And through this trauma, they make the child's personality split, and they create altered personalities, which they use in various ways. This person can be a celebrity, they can be a spy, they can be a government agent, and these specific personalities have one job and one role. They don't have a complete life. They don't have to worry about their children or their job or feeding themselves. They have one specialized job in the world. And so if it's murder, that's all they do. They're a murderer. If they're a spy, if they're a sex slave, all of their energy is put into being a sex slave. So they're completely focused on a unidimensional type situation, and they become really good at it because they don't have to worry about the rest of their lives. And you can see why that would be such an advantage. They're completely focused on one activity. And this is why these people do this. They split these celebrities' personalities, and they become really good at one thing. And they're not ever, there's no sense of worry. There's no sense of, oh, did I take my laundry out? Or, are the kids all right? There's none of this thing where you have to be a multi-functioning person. They have one personality for each task at hand, and the subject has a handler, and the handler is the person that controls them, and they have ways, the handler has ways of pulling up each personality, code words, sounds, different ways of acting, getting the personality to become the dominant personality for that period of time that it's necessary to do the task. And so this is, think about that. We have a mind control program, not just this country, but other people, other countries around the world, most countries around the world are experimenting with controlling the minds and the psychological worlds and the inner worlds. And this is where you're getting away from your connection to God. You're warping people to such an extent that they have no longer a connection to God or who they are. They don't even have sovereignty over their own internal worlds. And this is a really scary thing. This is a really dark path to take people down, to lose control of your internal worlds. And that's what's happening to most people, young people, through these electronic devices. They're programming them, and they're getting them to lose sovereignty over who they are as a person and lose sovereignty over their ability to connect to the God within them. People are slowly losing the ability to love, and that I've talked about that extensively in many other videos, recently with the Prince video, about how they're trying to get rid of mothers and the idea of the sacred feminine, and the mother teaches a child through experiential learning and feeling the love that the mother gives to the child learns to love, and that love eventually connects them to God, connects them to their soul, the part of them that's connected to God. And without that, you have a devil-like society, that you've gone over to the dark side, because once people, human beings, lose their ability to love, they lose their connection to God, then all is lost for that species. And then they only have their egos and their minds and these types of things. And that's the path that the human race is headed down right now, and it has to be reversed as soon as possible. And I also need to point out that there's this Rolling Stone article with a video about Beyonce's song Daddy Lessons, and they show some images from her HBO performance. So this is from her album entitled Lemonade. That's a video album on HBO. And in the video for the song, she is standing on a set of boxes, and there are all these dancers or models dressed just like Beyonce in different poses on these boxes, representing multiple personalities. And then she goes down and sits in the empty box, or stands in the empty box for her. So this is tying multiple personalities to this song, Daddy Lessons. Now there's something else that's really disturbing here. Now all these songs that Beyonce produces, that she sings, are written by committee, and they are political in nature. There is a reason why. There's a mind control thing about this, and they are pushing an agenda here. And so this song isn't just something she wrote off the top of her head and sung on YouTube and it went viral. It's something that they planned. There's a reason for this song. It's divulging some level of truth. And what's really kind of disturbing, another aspect of this is disturbing, is Beyonce is one of these people that's big on getting rid of gun rights, getting rid of gun legislation. She's made a series of videos about this. She's been involved in various movements about getting rid of gun rights. And yet in the lyrics of this song, she's talking about your Second Amendment right. Now this is something where she was in at least one video. I know it's called If I Were a Boy, and again getting into the transgender agenda. She is a police officer in this video where she's at a shooting range and she's firing her gun. And then she made a music video. She did a performance at one of these award shows like the MTV Music Awards, and she comes out with her dancers all being it's basically a martial law video. She comes marching out with these guys in riot gear, these dancers in riot gear, and she comes out with this, Sasha Fierce intensity, marching up there on stage with a martial law type situation. So she's firing a gun in in the video, and then she comes out with martial law, and yet she's into gun control. And then in this song, she's talking about shooting her gun and being, this sort of thing. And this is the mixed message that they often send to you. You have all of these videos and TV shows and movies and movie stars and these celebrities who are glorifying the gun. They are worshiping the gun. And the gun and killing. And how many movies have you seen where there's gunplay? I mean, almost every action movie, there's a gun. There's guns involved on TV shows. And you think about how often you see a gun being used. And then these guys come out and say, oh, we're anti-gun. Let's get rid of guns. And then they're out there using guns. And so this is mixed message that they said. This is, crazy making stuff. So this is all contained in this video and in her career, but it's something that is dispersed out. I've talked about this with Helen Mirren and that other actress. I can't remember her name. That is, they're part of the Not One More campaign, and yet they are using guns quite often in movies. So you're either anti-gun or you're not, but don't pretend to play with guns in movies and, glorify them and then come out say you're against them. But this is the kind of thing that they want to make people crazy. They're gaslighting you. So I think there's probably some more to be said about this. I'll probably make a follow-up video about this at some point. But it's clearly something that's really, really disturbing. And they're displaying this in a not so hidden way, but very few people are going to pick up on this type of thing. And it's something that these young people, they're just hypnotized, the believers and the Beyonce fans, and they're just sitting up there absorbing all of this stuff and being demonized in a way. It's a way of them transferring demonic energy into the masses and disconnecting people from the love that's within them and their higher spiritual nature.